welcome to the View from the IADB. My name is Silvia Pavoni. I'm the economics editor of the bank, and I'm talking to Antonio Alves, who is in charge of short-term finance at the IFC. So, Antonio, we were just chatting earlier about the contrast between the deterioration of the macroeconomic picture in Latin America and how well many of the smaller banks in the region are doing, and a lot of them are contacting you for the first time to try and access your short-term finance program. Can you elaborate on this?
Silvia, thank you very much for the interview. It's beautiful here in Bahia, Salvador, Brazil.
Which is your country, of course, so we should mention how gorgeous the scenery is.
Exactly. Yes, I'm originally from Brazil, and it's always good to come back. So about your question, yes, the market in Latin America is going through a transitional phase. We have a lot of political potential change in terms of presidents. We have election in Brazil this year, 2014 in October. We have election in Argentina next year. There is election in Panama in May, so in about 2 months. And depending on the results of those elections, the political landscape might change, which will potentially impact on the banking sector. And depending on the impact on the economy and on in the banking industry, the local and emerging market banks might want or might need the IFC support to increase the access to the financial markets in different countries.
But at the moment, even if we're seeing lower growth rates, well, especially in Brazil, but also in other countries in the region, you were saying that over the past year, you've seen banks from Brazil, smaller banks, actually growing and doing way better than they used to do in the past. So there is some sort of detachment from the sovereign and the banking sector. Would you say this is correct?
Yeah, no, that's true. In Brazil, particularly, we have a situation that the local currency had a devaluation in the past 6 months or so, which helps the export side. So the exports in Brazil became more competitive, therefore the volume is increasing. And then when you look to a mid-sized bank that is expanding their client's portfolio, they might need to have access to a larger network of correspondent banks or lenders. And IFC is the ideal channel to open new doors. And I'll give you some examples. In Brazil today, we have 10 issuing banks. All of them are considered mid-sized banks. We are actually about to add one more to have 11 in the country. And what we are focusing now in Brazil is, one, to provide competitive funding cost for export financing. And number two is also to introduce new lenders from different regions to the Brazilian banks. We have at least 5 Chinese banks, for example, interest to start business in Brazil.
And this number was, how much was it just a few years ago? Presumably probably was much smaller, right?
Yeah, if you look at 1 year ago, the volume of lending from Asia to Brazil in terms of IFC, in other words, having IFC as an intermediator, this number was about $80 million. Today, we are over $200 million. So it's a significant growth. And we keep expanding not only to China, we are also working with banks in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Thailand, interest to work with Latin America, and particularly with Brazil because of the size of the economy.
Okay, well, thank you so much. So lots to do for the IFC in the future. Thanks for your comments.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. And with all these meetings here, I'm sure we will have an opportunity to develop more business with new clients.